Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Make sure I'm recording and I guess I'll let your note takers in today because I know today we're going to solve some problems that I know a lot of you guys are having. And what I want to do is I kind of want to get just kind of the temperature of the room. So if you can unmute yourselves, can I just kind of get like an idea of where everyone's having issues when it comes to the DM conversation so that as I am going through the training today, um, I can make sure that I'm including any of those questions and we're actually going to build out your sequence in real time. So I want everyone, if you haven't gotten a note taker, pen and paper, iPad, because today we're going to actually get to work. But who's been having conversations and not getting anywhere with them? Colton, where do you feel is the black hole in your messenger sequence?
Well, it's so new, right? It's just new, right? So I did your thing like a week ago or something like that. So that's how I'm just really new to it. But I have an exact message right now. I have a bunch of messages. I could show you the beginning of these. Would that be helpful? Can I just show you
Well,
where
just
they're
tell me
at?
what's the constraint in having the messenger conversation? Like where are you getting stuck specifically?
Um, I don't know if getting stuck is the right word. I just want to make sure that I'm optimizing these conversations that I now have, right? Before I kind of just dive into them and open up a world of weeds, because the things I know from sales is, you can talk yourself out of potential buyers that I just don't want to do that. So I want to make
So
each
what
of these.
is the so where in the conversation though are you kind of getting are you getting stuck?
Well, I'm offering them a free trial for these AI tools that I have made over the years. And I guess I'm getting stuck on how I can move from booking them a call to build them a custom AI tool or funnel,
So what is the so
right?
what is the
Because
value bomb? What is the value bomb that you're giving away?
I am giving them the framework and step on step on how to create their own AI bot to complete a certain
Okay,
task in their
perfect.
business,
And
right?
so what's the first thing that you're asking them whenever you get them into Messenger?
So the first questions I have is, do you want, let me pull up my questions.
Yeah,
I redid these after the last time you and I talked.
yeah.
So,
Cool. I
um,
love that.
the first one is, hang on, I had some people answer all three here. Let me grab it.
Yeah.
So tell me more about your ad is one of them. That was a default one that I ended up changing it, obviously. The other one says, I want the link to all your pre-made AI tools. And then the other one is, I want access to your framework guide.
Okay. So you're not really asking them a question whenever you're getting them into Messenger.
The first question I ask is, what are you going to be focused on with these AI tools? So I'm trying to figure out
Okay.
like what the goal is going to be with the AI tools. I have this guy, he says he wants to do an app. He wants to make an app. I said, cool, we can do that. What app, like what specifically are you trying to do in this app, right? And then he gets all weird. He's like, I can't tell you those ideas. They're a secret. Um, I was like, all right, well, and then my response was, okay, I understand that, my friend, but I want to make sure that I'm going to send you the right stuff. Like I'm just
Yeah.
trying to make sure that what I'm going to send you is relevant. Um, because you told me to keep it as long as I can to make sure I'm actually sending something good, right?
Yep.
So the two questions is I want the link to the all the pre-made AI tools, and the other one is uh I want the AI programming framework free guide. So
So I
that's
guess
what I
I'm
have.
confused. What's like the main question? Because like I want something shouldn't be an answer to the first initial question because you're trying to figure out like what specific problem are they trying to solve, like which, because like I want access to all your AI tools, that's not really giving you any information. Okay, cool, so that's good. So I know where Colton's black hole is. Anyone else getting stuck anywhere?
I'm getting stuck through the follow-up. So it's
Okay.
like I have a math curriculum program that parents can use either homeschooling or enrichment. And so, the first questions is, tell me why your kiddos, you think your kiddo's having trouble in math. And like, we kind of go down that path. And then I recommend one of my placement tests so they know like exactly what grade level their kiddo is in math. And then I send them the link to that, which is a Google form that then I'll send them their kids' results afterwards. But they're not like going to take the test. And then when I message them later and like, hey, I saw you haven't taken that yet,
Dude, why are you sending them to a Google form?
Because that's the placement test.
So you're sending them to I guess I'm not connecting what
the Google form is the quiz for their child to take, whether it's addition, subtraction, multiplication.
So you're doing it through a Google form?
The quiz is through a Google form.
That
so I think that's
that might be a little weird for them.
Yeah, because then they're like, you need your email address to like
100%. Like the whole point of this is to not get any like contact information, because all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, right? Like this person's just wants my contact info to market to me, right?
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about like this entire flow. Let me actually share my screen, and then like as I'm going through this, if you have questions for each individual part, let's stop and actually talk about it, right? So let me see. Let me do this. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. All right. Okay. So let's actually back up a little bit, and I'll actually just kind of give you guys an overview, right, of what this looks like and expectations, right? So if we look at my ecosystem, right, the first thing that we do is we're sending people to our power content videos, right? Now, a lot of people are like, okay, I am creating this audience of people who've watched 25% or more, and then I'm sending them to a conversion multiplier, I'm sending them to an offer, I'm sending them wherever, right? And people are like, but no one's taking me up on it. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit, right? And I say, oh shit, because I want that to be a pattern interrupt for you guys to listen to what I'm about to say, okay? So the whole point of power content is to get them on the conveyor belt, right? So we've got a whole bunch of people who have problems, right? So we've got the 97 to 98% of people who are our ideal clients, right? Because we should have created this content for our ideal clients and repel everyone who's not, right? Everyone with me here? Let me open up the chat just so that, because this is what you guys need to understand. Otherwise, it's going to be an endless, I'm not getting results, I'm not getting results, I'm not getting results. But if you understand this, you'll understand why you might not be getting results right now, okay? So we've got the 97 to 98% are just barely hopping onto the conveyor belt. Then you've got the 2 to 3% of people who are ready to buy, right, at any given time. A lot of you guys are getting people to watch 25% of the video, right? And so they're getting on the conveyor belt. And what a lot of you guys are expecting is, I'm going to put an offer right here and you expect people to buy. They're literally just hopping onto the conveyor belt. Okay? So that's why we can't just expect people to, oh, I'm going to run traffic here for 25%. And then after watching one video 25% of the time, you're expecting them to just have the world, right? It actually takes a series of content, right? If we look at the data that Google just gave us, right? It takes 7 hours of consuming content, 11 touch points across 4 platforms. Okay. So this is where my ecosystem is a hybrid with organic marketing, right? Because if they hop on this conveyor belt, these videos are all different touch points, right? Now, so we've got campaign number 1, which is the power content. We've got campaign 2, which is the offer that you want to get people to, right? For most of you guys, this is a funnel, even a 2-step funnel, right? That's still a funnel. Campaign number 3 are the boosted posts, right? So they've gotten on the conveyor belt and they're moving along. The DM funnel, right, which is campaign number 4, that's going to intercept the highest quality leads probably about here, right? So a lot of you guys are like, well, no one's responding, no one's doing this, no one's doing that. It's because, yeah, they're still moving their way along the conveyor belt. The longer they stay on the conveyor belt, the higher quality those DM conversations are going to be, because they've consumed all of this content, bringing them closer to certainty that something works, right? How fast this conveyor belt goes depends on 2 things. 1, how much content you're putting out, or 2, how much money you're spending. Does that make sense to everybody? And so a lot of you guys right here are trying to have messenger conversations, and in the beginning, about only 40% of people are even going to respond to you. And that's normal, by the way. Like 40% of people responding, that's normal, and that's very good. So that means 60% of people will not. But the longer that they stay on this conveyor belt, the faster that response time is going to be, and the more engaged they will be with you in Messenger. Okay? So a lot of you guys need to just keep going, right? If you're not getting Messenger conversations, one of 2 things are happening, right? Either they're not warmed up enough to you, or 2, the free thing that you're offering them isn't the thing that's going to solve their problem. And this is why it's really important that you understand the problems up here for your ideal clients. Because here's the thing, just because someone asks for your value bomb does not mean that that's a problem that they necessarily need to solve, because they could just be collecting free resources, right? And so that's why we want to get as niche specific in our problems as possible, because that's actually going to help us figure out, okay, who are the serious people that we could actually work for, other than the tire kickers who are just online to collect a whole bunch of free stuff they'll never do anything with. We want to avoid that at all costs. And so this is why these videos right here that put people on the conveyor belt, they need to be as niche and problem specific as possible. Now, I know that that goes totally against what a lot of people tell you, right? Everyone's like, here are all the viral hooks to get more eyeballs on your content, right? Viral means lots of unqualified people who will never buy from you. I want to protect my conveyor belt as much as possible. This is why I do not like when my content goes viral. I do not want anyone on this conveyor belt that is not interested in buying, okay? Now, the other thing that matters is that this value bomb right here needs to solve a very specific problem, okay? It needs to be a very specific problem, and it needs to be very niche. I had a student the other day post in the $7 program how excited she was that she got over 1,000 comments on her value bomb. I was like, I could already tell you didn't do that right. If you're getting 1,000 comments on your value bomb, you did something wrong. Okay. Here's the thing though. We have to look at this value bomb as the top of funnel for a funnel. Okay. Because we're funneling people through, and the top thing is this value bomb. A good value bomb is going to solve a very specific problem, but it's going to reveal the big problem. Okay, this is what we want to help them solve in Messenger. This is what we want to either get them on a call to solve or get them into our program to solve. So a lot of you guys are putting out these value bombs, but you're not thinking the entire conversation through, right? Because what we want to do is we almost want to pre-plan what our conversation is going to be like, okay? Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that the first thing that we're doing is we're doing a diagnostic, okay? So the diagnostic includes, one, telling people why you're messaging them. People forget. Like I'll say, hey, Tina, I'm messaging you because you asked for my guide on my last post on XYZ. Oh, okay. That's why Laurel's messaging me. That makes sense, right? Because a lot of times people forget, and when you're messaging them, they think you're spamming them and you're doing cold outreach. They forgot that they commented on your thing. You can't expect people to remember, okay? So what you're doing is, one, you want to tell people why you're messaging them. The next thing that you want to do is you want to ask a qualifying question, okay? So if I have this value bomb right here, and my value bomb is my DM framework to close leads in Messenger, right? So let's say I'm giving away this value bomb. So my first question could be, how many Messenger conversations are you having a day, right? And then I could say A, 0, B, 3 to 10, or C, 10 plus. Because what I want to figure out is, where are they? Because do you think if someone answers 0, do you think that this value bomb is going to get them any further than where they are now? Yes or no? What do you think? No one knows?
Of
We
course
talked
it
about
won't.
something today?
It's
Yeah.
not gonna. It's always
No,
that
it's like,
way.
yeah, it's not going to go. They're not going to go anywhere. I just want to make sure you guys we're paying attention, right? Don't want anyone falling asleep here today. Guys, this is where the money's made, right here. Like if you learn how to do this shit, you ain't ever going to have to take another sales call ever again. Or if you like doing sales calls, that's fine, but you won't have any issues getting people onto a sales call. So if they're getting 0 messages, right? I'm probably going to give them something so that they can. Oops, I just erased myself. I'm probably going to get them to give them something to get Messenger conversations, right? So I'm probably going to give them my $5 ad that will help them get Messenger conversations. I'm probably going to help them from start to finish, exactly what I'm helping you guys do right now. And I'm probably going to say, hey, go test this, and tomorrow come back and tell me what happened. I want to get them to go and do something. I want to activate them. Why do I want to activate them? If I can activate them to go do something, I can get the data that I need to reveal the bigger problem, right? If they come back to me and say, wow, Laurel, what you helped me do, I got 2 Messenger conversations. And I'm like, would it be worth 15 minutes if you and I could hop on a quick Zoom call and I'll show you how to convert one of those 2 people into a client? See how I did that? But I needed that data in order to reveal the bigger problem, because if they got 2 people, they don't know what to do next. Then on that call, I would help them design their Messenger flow, right? Then what do you think they're going to come back and be like, well, I got them onto a call. How do I actually close them? Cool. Every single week in my program, I help students close their sales calls. Do you want to join us next week? I'm also giving them 1 step at a time, right? And so the goal of these conversations is to not actually give them the value bomb. I want to actually withhold the value bomb as long as possible so that I can actually get to their real problem. But we have to think this entire sequence through. Otherwise, we're just putting up random free shit and just seeing what people are grabbing for. I see this all the time, right? Yeah. And exactly what Scott says. He says it also pre-qualifies them as a good fit now lead, 100%. And so this is what we need to do. This is the work, right? So what you need to do whenever you're designing this entire flow is you need to think your way through, well, what are 3 to 5 very specific problems that my ideal clients have? And how could I give them that quick win? Because my whole point with this entire framework right here is I want to pretend that they just handed me $500 to solve their most immediate problem in the next 10 minutes. That's my goal. Anytime that I get someone in Messenger from a 2-step, that's my goal. It's like, set the timer. Let's see how fast I can help them solve that most immediate problem. And the best way to do that is to keep asking questions, right? Crystal, you were talking about how you help parents with their kids get better test scores, right? What do parents love talking about more than anything?
Their kids.
Their kid. One of the very first question I would be like, what's the name of your kid? So that I can name that kid through our entire conversation, because then it becomes more real.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how Johnny, tell me more about Johnny. What is his study habits? What is this? Give me, what is his, what does Johnny care about? Is he interested in actually making good, or is he more interested in football? Cool. Like, let's take it from it. Like, we have to make this problem more personalized. And the more personalized that we can make this problem, the better conversations that we're actually going to have. So let's actually play this out, right? Who is having issues figuring out what their value bomb should be? Let's go step by step. Who's having issues figuring out what their value bomb needs to be? Or is everyone past that? Kara, tell me a little bit about where you're having issues figuring out the value bomb.
So my value bomb is helping people outline their digital course in 5 minutes or less.
Okay.
And I just started my ads last Saturday, and they're not the conversion multiplier. I got no takes except warm people that already knew me.
See, that just kind of proves what we were just going over.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like
They've been on the conveyor belt.
Yeah, my warm audience are, they asked for it.
Yep.
But listening to what you're saying, I had created an AI form where I would give them the link and they answer 3 questions and it spits it out. And then it was inviting them to a 20-minute call. But I think I'm thinking about this all wrong.
Probably.
So I want to apply what you're teaching. So would I tell them, like, do I need to re-record those videos and change my messaging?
So let me ask you this, and this is where knowing who your clients are is going to come in handy. Is what are the problems that they're actually having with outlining their course? Like, why are they having issues outlining the course?
They think that they need to put everything they know into their course. They think they don't have the knowledge that they already need. So those have been in my conversion multipliers. That's kind of my messaging.
But see, they're not even at outlining their course yet.
Okay.
So you're trying to use a value bomb that's not meeting them where they are right now. They're probably 2 or 3 steps ahead of outlining their course. Does that make sense? Because if they don't know the things that you were just talking about, outlining a course is way ahead of where they need to be.
Okay. Yeah, most of them are stuck in their head thinking like they're not ready because so I guess
Tell me a little bit more about those people.
Okay, so they want passive income, they want to have, freedom and just, be able to not work 24/7, and they want to take their knowledge and turn it into a course.
Are they working 24/7 right now? Like, do they have, like, they still have a full-time job?
most of them are either entrepreneurs that are doing, like I've got one that's a property manager that I'm helping, and she's wanting to teach other property managers. I've also got one who is teaching people how to recover from knee surgery.
Okay.
And so they get stuck in thinking like, okay, I have to have the perfect studio set up. I have to have, I have to know every single thing before I can start actually monetizing this. Where I'm like, if you would just start teaching what you know, and then ask the people what else do they need and go create the thing, you could start creating passive income now. Like,
Yeah. Like they can literally sell the course before they even build it.
correct.
So I think I think your value bombs need to be something that eliminates that false belief that they need to create the course before they sell it. Like, what are all of the steps that they need to do to get them to that point?
Okay.
Like,
I
I
do
never build anything.
before
I
you
sell
can sell it.
before I build. I've never built anything before I sold it.
Okay. And I did a workshop last week that was what the whole thing was, all the myths that people are believing around course creation. And what I got from that workshop was, holy cow, I finally feel like, wow, I do have the knowledge I need. I do know enough. I can go create this. So do I need to find a
What
way
was
to
the one part of that workshop that allowed them to lift that belief?
that whole myth section? I mean, I rattled off like 10 different myths and I said, okay, which one have you been believing?
And what were the 10 myths?
Well, that they needed all the knowledge, that they needed the perfect setup, that they needed to have hour-long course lessons instead of quick actionable items. It was a bunch like that.
So I would make the action steps very, like, the value bomb very action based within a 24 to 48 period. Like, what, hey, like, answer these 3 questions, and within 24 hours you could sell a course that would literally validate your offer, or something. Like, there needs to be something. I don't know enough about your offer to be able to I just need to know, like, what are the things that are, like, stopping people, like, what are stopping people from doing that? Because a lot of the things that you're talking about, it's false beliefs, but what is the actual physical thing that's keeping them from doing that?
Well, the physical thing is the actual going to record their first video. Like, that's what I probably train on the most, is like, here is
But
my,
they don't need to record their first video
to start launching
right?
their course. They do.
No, they don't. They could sell a course way, but I've never recorded a course or a video before selling it. I've always sold out my courses before I even started the first video.
Okay.
Like here, you have to like, because their major objections are, like, they think that they need all of this stuff, right? But if you literally said, look, what if in the next 24 hours you could literally sell your course without recording a single video? My client so-and-so did that last week, and and the start of that was, like, answering these 3 questions. Would it be worth a minute of your time to figure out what core, or something like that? Like I said, I don't know enough about your stuff to be able to, like, figure out what that thing is, but you need to activate them in a very short period of time. You need to get them to see it, right? So I'll give you an example, right? Does anyone know why spiritual leaders get people to do ayahuasca? Does anyone know the real reason? It's not just to get high. So whenever people are on the spiritual journey, it's fucking hard, right? It's really hard. Plant leaders, right? They use plant medicine to get people to see that it actually exists, so that people do the work to get it without the drugs. That's literally why plant medicine and ayahuasca exists. so that people can see it for the first time to know that it exists so that they can put in the work to get there naturally. Did anyone know that? But that's why ayahuasca exists. It's not just to give people this, you know, this drug. It's used by spiritual leaders to get people to see that it exists. And Kara, what you need to do is you need to get your audience to see that it exists for people like them. And so that's why I'm saying you need to get them to somehow see, yes, you don't need to do all of these things in order to do this. And so if you can get them to see, right, like even put together something like, what if I told you in the next 24 hours, you could literally sell your first workshop without recording a single video? Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Because then once you have them in the messenger conversation, you could actually help them outline their first course. And then they're going to be like, Kara, what's the question they're going to ask next? Kara, how do I, what's the
Well,
next step?
Well, how do I go record my first video, or how do I?
No. How do I sell it? Kara. And then you're like, would it be worth a quick 15-minute call if I literally ran you through something that you can do in the next 48 hours to not only sell this course, but actually get it done? Then on that call, you literally walk them through your entire roadmap of them going from 0 to actually mapping out their first financially free month. It's a ping pong match. You have to figure out, like, what is the next micro step that I can get this person to take with me?
Okay. I guess my biggest thing is my offer is to teach them all of the tech, like, because that's where they're getting hung up once they decide to do the course.
The tech is like the hardest part of the entire thing. You could literally here's what I would do. I would literally make all of my free stuff getting them to record, like to validate the course. And then your offer is literally building all of the tech so that they can automate more of what they're doing.
That's it. Validate the course.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what I want to, yep. Okay.
That's the free content, right? Validating the course, because after that, they need it.
Yes. And that was the first part of my workshop last week. So validating the course, talking about the myths that they need to break, and then getting them into a DM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Nancy, is this helpful for everyone to kind of walk everyone through like the step-by-step to get to where we need to be? Okay, cool. Nancy.
Hi. So I've tried a few, and the one that has gotten about like 10 or 12 messages is a value bomb where they do an AM reset. Their pain is that they wake up with pain and brain fog, and they don't want to get out of bed, and they have a busy day. So my sticking point has been, because I've just been too generous. I know I've been giving it away too early, and then they disappear after. So how do I keep them more engaged? And if I do get them on a call, that 15-minute call.
Let's build the funnel, right? Like what it looks like. Okay, so you're giving them this, did you call it an AM reset?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the small immediate constraint that you want that solves?
What's their small problem that solves? That
Mhm.
they don't want to get out of bed in the morning, and then they have to drink coffee to push through the day.
Okay. So if they do that value bomb, like if you activate them to do something,
Yeah,
what happens next?
they'll have more energy.
And so what bigger problem does that reveal?
That they still crash at noon.
Okay, cool. So you get them activated, and you tell them that, say, look, here's the deal. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to feel refreshed, right? And that is a win in itself. But here's what's going to happen, because this is what happens every time I give my other clients this, is you're going to crash by noon. If that happens, come back to me, because then I can help you get through the afternoon utilizing and give it a name, whatever that next step is. But you see how like I'm saying, go do this, but I'm also telling them, hey, by the way, here's what's going to happen when you do this. If this happens, come back to me and here's the next step.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
And then if they don't come back to you, it gives you a reason to follow up and say, hey, did you do this thing? Just curious how you feel today.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And okay, so say they come back and they'll say, yeah, it worked. And no one has done this yet because well, I haven't asked, but how do I get them to the call?
What is the bigger problem that you need it to reveal?
That they'll keep having like these roller coaster energy up rises and falls.
Right. So what is it that they want?
They want all day energy.
Okay. And is that what your entire program solves?
Pain and energy, yeah.
Okay. What kind of pain?
Chronic pain.
Like give me an example.
Like neck and shoulder pain, like stiffness, like just kind of achy.
Okay. So they're tossing and turning all night because they're in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Okay, cool. So let's say you give them the value bomb and you're like, hey, go try this before is it a thing that you do in the AM? Is that why it's called the AM reset?
It is actually something they have to do at nighttime so
Okay.
that they feel good in the morning.
Here's the thing. Go do this tonight, and then by tomorrow morning, you're gonna feel XYZ. But here's the deal, right? I want you to try this first because most of the people that I give this to, they're gonna feel awesome in the morning, but by lunchtime, they're gonna feel like this. And so tomorrow, either check in with me or I'm gonna check in with you, and then I'm gonna show you how to make that last all day long, right? You send them on their way, they come back, they're like, hey, Nancy, you were right. By noon, I was in pain again and my energy levels were going down. What do I do next? Then you're like, okay, most of my clients who do XYZ, this is the main reason that is causing this, right? I'm going to give you a temporary fix, but would it be worth 15 minutes of your time if I can literally give you a solution that you can do all week long to where this stops happening every day and will, happen only once a week or something like that? You have to get them to see like what's on the other side, reveal the bigger problem, right? Because these are only little short fixes, right? But you have to get them to understand like what is it, would they want to solve in order to get on that 15-minute call or however long your call is. I like 15-minute calls, honestly, because it gives you a good touch point, and most people are busy. You think 60-minute calls, and especially when you think 60-minute calls, people think long sales calls. They're going to try to sell me something where it's like, hey, let's just hop on a quick 15-minute call and I'll help you solve this problem. They're not thinking sales call 15 minutes. That's the only reason why I say 15 minutes a lot, is because it's easier to sell a 15-minute call to have a short conversation than it is to get someone on a 45 to 60-minute call.
So do we not sell them on the call then?
You do sell them on the call, but you give them everything that they need to know. The call is the roadmap to do it without you. The sell is to do it with you, right? Because if you give them everything right on that call, and then the whole being helpful, like it starts all over again, right? I use something that my mentor calls the CASE framework: collect, analyze, strategize, execute. Up until this point, we should have been having conversations with our people so that by the time that we get on the call, we have the roadmap, and you say, look, here's the deal. The first thing that you're going to do is this. There's plenty of free ways and free YouTube videos that you can do. You can find them here. But if you do this with me, every single day, I'm going to adjust as needed for blah, blah, blah. The second thing you're going to need is this. And yes, there's free solutions. I actually have a free resource I'll give to you, but clients who work with me get XYZ. So you see what I'm doing there? I'm giving them the MapQuest directions. I'm promoting the Google Maps that like only I can do as things, right? If you look at MapQuest, back in the day, we used to have to print them off, right? But what happens when things come up, traffic, construction, you're like, fuck, MapQuest isn't helping me get around this traffic, right? But Google Maps will. So on a sales call, give the MapQuest, sell Google Maps.
Cool. Got
That
it.
way, if people leave that call, like here's what I've learned is you can give them the MapQuest on the call, even if they never buy from you, they're sending 2 to 5 people your way just because you were so incredibly helpful to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Tina's like, the call lasts longer than 10 minutes. Once you get really good at it, it won't. Especially once like that's why I don't have to sell lean on Laurel. Like we have a wait list out, by the way, we just raised the price again. So for those of you guys who are on the aren't in yet, sorry, it's $2K a month now. So if you're in lean on Laurel now, don't leave. But that's the reason why I don't have to sell it anymore, is because my conveyor belt of content is so long. People don't have any questions by the time they get to me. They're just like ready. And so that's going to come with all of you guys, like doing content again and again and again. Your audience is going to know every single step to where like by the time you get on the call, there's not much to talk about. It's an enrollment call, right? Let's see, Scott says the clarity and roadmap earns interest. They'll pay for the access and implementation, help navigating the inevitable foreseen challenges. Yep, 100%. Estriana, didn't that just happen to you? You tried giving them the value bomb and they're like, can I just pay to work with you instead? Didn't that just happen like last week?
4
Nice.
times. It was like crazy. I just literally gave them the valuable. They're like, so where's the link to work with you? So that's been amazing.
And
Crazy.
it didn't just happen overnight, right? You've been working this strategy, what, a year now?
Yeah, since the January blitz of last year, I've literally just said I'm consistent content every single day. I was doing 3 times a day at once, having felt like a million conversations. A lot of the things that a lot of people are saying now, I was struggling with the diagnostic question. I had no idea what to ask. And it was literally just try and try and try again. Okay, that failed. Let me try again. Putting out so many more value bombs didn't work than have worked, but the ones that are working really well.
Oh yeah, you guys know I'm a straight shooter, right? Like I have probably put out over 100 value bombs to my audience, and guess what? There's only 3 or 4 that people really, really like raise their hands for. But it took like, right? So if you're putting out value bombs and no one wants it, do another one. No one wants that, do another one. No one wants that, do another one, do another. That's the only thing, guys, that's like separating people who are actually making it and not making it, is just the amount of reps that they're doing. Yeah. Clara. But I will say this, I'll add one more thing. Estriana shows up. Like the last year, she shows up in the Ask Laurel thread. She comes to these calls. I think we've tweaked your messaging over to the last 2 Zoom calls that we've had.
Yeah, we've tweaked it a couple of times. I was having a couple of issues and then we literally tweaked it. I then followed through with what you said, then had another issue. We tweaked that, then followed through, and then it's kind of been working nice and smoothly now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't have really good messenger conversations when I first started too. It's really like it takes a lot of ping pong matches for sure. Where are you? Where'd you go?
I'm here. Hi.
There you go, Clara. I was like, where'd Clara go?
Sorry.
Like she's like, peace.
Um, okay, the question. So I'm in the midst of testing some new value bombs, and you gave me some really good advice on one of the previous calls of my angle. It's just a reset about like, hiring us to refilm a course, right? That was the offer. And telling me like, okay, why don't you try coming at an angle of what polished and professional actually means to us versus like the gear and stuff. So I am running some conversion multipliers with that angle, and I don't have the data yet, but I just wanted to see if I could just share the ideas that I have been trying to test to see if I'm on the right track.
100%. Lay it on me. But what I want you to do, Clara,
Yeah.
so that everyone on this call can kind of get value. Let's walk me through your thought process. Like I'm starting with this value bomb. Here are the 3 questions I'm going to ask. Here's the answer I hope they give me. And then we'll walk through. Would it help if I walked Clara through a couple of scenarios so that everyone could get value out of this? Would that be helpful? Okay, cool. We're gonna do a little bit of role play. So Clara,
Okay.
let's just start off with, what is the problem that you're gonna solve?
refilming a course with they want to have their course refilmed because they want to relaunch it with essentially like a better version of their course because they've gotten feedback. They want it to also look better, and essentially they often want to raise the price point of a course they've
Okay,
already.
that's the big situation they're
Yeah,
in,
big
right?
one. Mhm.
So what is a big problem causing them to stay in that situation of like wanting to reshoot their course?
Okay, so one of the problems is deciding how long it will take to redo this again. Is that too big?
Okay, so what's the problem that solves?
Uh,
Like, I mean, what's the problem, right? You didn't tell me, you were kind of, you told me a symptom of the problem, but what's the actual problem?
not knowing how long it will how long it will take.
Okay, so is this a person who doesn't have time to do this, or is it a person who just is totally unaware?
They don't have the time to do it all over by themselves like they did
Gotcha.
the first
See,
time.
okay, that's a big problem. They don't have the time to do this themselves. What is a small problem that's keeping them from not having the time to do this themselves?
Oh, shouldn't have it yet.
Right here, this is the sweet spot, guys. You see how I pushed her
Ask
one
me,
step further?
ask that question again. What is the
Okay, so the big problem is they don't have time to do this themselves, right? We're
Mhm.
gonna go deeper. What is the micro problem keeping them from not having time to do this themselves? This is where all of your content lies, guys. Like this is the work right here. Like getting you, because a lot of you guys are doing content around too big of a problem where it could be really broken down into micro problems.
Well, they don't have a plan on like what they want to. No, that's not true. My ideal clients already knew what they wanted to refilm. And they
Okay.
came to me saying, Clara,
Do
these
they
are
have
my
a list that they have a
Yeah.
list of it?
They had a list of what they wanted to refilm already. Out the gate, they
Okay.
had
Okay.
they just wanted the person to actually guide them through like, Claire, I have these list of videos. I don't want to do this myself. You need to come and help me film them, do them, organize the whole damn thing.
Okay, cool. I love that. So problem, right? They don't have
Yeah.
time for, but the micro problem is they've got the shoot schedule.
They have
They
like the
just
list of
can't,
lessons. Yeah.
they just can't. Is it a time issue or is it a skill issue?
Both, because
Okay.
they are aware enough from doing it the first time that they don't have the skills to get it to where they want it to be. They don't, whether
Okay.
it's the equipment or the way to put it all together, they just don't have that, nor do they have the desire to get that skill.
Okay. So they've got the list. Let's
Mhm.
just say they don't have the time, right?
Okay.
What is the very first problem? Like if when someone becomes a client with you and someone says, look, I've got this whole shot list, but I don't have the time. What is the first micro problem that you solve right then and there? Even if it's on your end, it doesn't necessarily have to be for the client, but like, what is the first micro step that you do to get them to the next step?
I don't know if this is the answer to your question, but when they come to us with a list, the first thing I want to see the list and I ask them, I don't know why I feel like I'm failing a quiz. I ask I usually ask them questions of like, well, what are the things that you know that you're definitely going to do differently the next time? Like, it's one thing to reshoot the exact thing, but it's more important to me, like, what are you going to do differently than the
So
first?
the way that I want you guys to think
Yeah.
about this is this messenger conversation is literally a lead gen tool, right? Remember, at the end of the day, the job is to not give them, is to withhold the value bomb as long as possible so that we can actually give them what they need, right?
Mhm.
So the thing that they want is to shoot their course and get it over as humanly fast as possible, right?
Yeah.
So you could literally use a lead magnet that says, and I know what the objection that you're going to tell me to doing this, but I'll explain why. Okay. So let's say you were like, okay, they've got their shot list, right? You say, hey, most of you guys, I'll just pretend, right? So most of you guys watching this video right now probably have a shot list of every single thing that you need to do in order to shoot your course, but you're thinking you don't have time. But what if I told you you could literally get all of this done using a little hack that I give to my clients that allows them to do this within just one day or something like that, right? And you're like, but Laurel, I'm selling me doing it, right? That's the point, is if people have a list of things that they need to shoot and they're not doing it, what do you want them more than anything to be? In your messenger, so that you can sell them on you doing it instead, right? It's kind of like the woman who ran the hair removal place, right? And they had the secret formula to sugaring. And I told her, I said, give your secret formula to sugaring to your audience. And she's like, but Laurel, if I give them the recipe, they're not going to come into my med spa and get the service. I'm like, yes, they will, because if you hand this to them and say, look, here's the deal. It takes 4 hours to make. Most people burn themselves, but if you sign in next Tuesday, I've got a 15-minute spot with your name on it. I could get you in and out during your lunch hour. Which sounds more appealing?
The second one.
Yes, why? So you get them in with the shortcut, but you sell them the shortcut that they actually want, versus that you sell them the shortcut they need versus the thing that they messaged you for.
Can I just, because as you spoke, okay, I have to blurt it out. So the thing actually that is a big time is a lot of times when they came, they filmed it sequentially. And when we film them, we don't always film it sequentially. We ask them, where are you filming this? And why does it have to be filmed here? And then we group it like that. And that's how we give them the order. And that's why it takes a fraction of the time than it did the first time.
Yep.
And if
You
I
can
can
literally
tell them-
give that away,
Yeah, okay.
give that hack away right there. Like what's
I group
written
it
on
this
this
way. Yeah.
literally is a hack for most of our clients who
Mhm.
literally get their stuff done in, 1/3 of the time because of what's written here. Drop a line below if you want it.
So I'm not saying like because we do this, it's like it's because of this thing that I do. They go
It's
from
because
filming.
it's because of
Yeah.
this hack that we use with every single one of our clients that literally tricks them into getting all of this stuff done in a fraction of the time. And I want to give it to you.
Okay. Did what I said though, like the actual thing, did that make sense? What I just said? Because I'm kind of in a
100%.
haze.
That's why I came up with something better, was because it made more sense.
Okay, because they group by. Okay.
We just have to think of these value
Lean
bombs
more into that.
just
Okay.
bait. It's just bait. Like at the end of the day, here's the thing, right? When people are asking for value bombs, it's the sexy thing. But when we get them into Messenger, we actually figure out what is the actual constraint that they have. That's where we can step in and solve it. Because most of the people who are going to talk to you, their constraint still is going to be time.
Okay.
They're just thinking that this is going to be, but it would just be a band-aid. They would still need you anyway.
Yeah, because even if I give them the hack, they're like, well, that's great, Clara, but I still want you to come. I want someone to come film it.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
literally just
Yeah.
scoring a conversation with someone who needs what you're selling.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Christina.
Hi, Laurel.
Hey.
So I really have a hard time to figure out a good value bomb, because I have one, but I don't think it's good. I will tell you what is after that. But first of all, let's maybe tell you the situation, which I am, because it's a little bit different. I don't think they have a problem. So that's the point, like there are AP chemistry students, future AP chemistry students, because, AP chemistry is just 1 year and it's so much in 1 year that I have to start like in summer to get them over the content. So I don't have time for them to start the class and start to figure out what they are struggling with. So normally I have to start advertising now so that they can start over the summer, so that they can, some of them even start chemistry without AP chemistry without any other on-level class. So making them aware that they need to start, so they don't have a problem. They don't know they have a problem. They will have a problem when they start.
It's kind of like my mentors, not Nick, but my other mentor, Jeff Moore, his wife. She helps students get into the college of their choice through the college admission stuff. She starts marketing to them as freshmen, but they don't become a client until their junior year, but she still has a freshman checklist, a sophomore checklist, a junior checklist. And so that's what she's literally giving away as her value bombs, because a lot of the parents don't realize they need to start doing this stuff when they're freshmen. Right. And so I feel like you're in a very similar situation where you need to get them to be aware that they need to start doing this stuff before. And so you just need to figure out, like, what is the checklist that they actually need to do so that by the time they get into the position, you're the most logical choice.
Yeah, so I have this value bomb, which I have already. It works. They want it, but then I cannot get them to start working with me because it's an AP Chemistry summer prep guide where I line down all the topics they need to master before starting AP Chemistry, which of course they will say, thank you so much. I'm gonna look to this until the AP Chemistry class starts. I don't know, because they are not going to do anything.
So how are you having the conversation though, right? Because if you're just giving it to them, obviously they're gonna be like, peace out. What is it that they need to know before getting that sheet?
Nothing, I think.
Like,
I'm
what is
telling.
it like? What do you think is the biggest hurdle that if you're giving people the cheat sheet, do you think they're just going off and being successful with your cheat sheet, or what do you think?
No, I hope that they will figure out that, okay, that's a lot of stuff here, which is difficult. It will make sense to get into the program of this person so
Well,
that.
here's the thing though. Are you giving them too much that it's just overwhelming and they're just like putting the cheat sheet that you're giving them and they're just like not even doing anything with it because it's too overwhelming?
Mm-hmm. So what do you think I should
Like,
do
is
then?
there one or two gold nuggets on that sheet that maybe instead of giving them the entire sheet, you're only giving them one thing to do?
Ah, you mean to take one of those topics and giving them something on those topics and, okay, do that and come back to me and things like that? Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like something that I'll just say, like a lot of times whenever I used to attempt to do like live workshops and webinars and get people into the next step, right? One of the biggest issues that I used to have, because it's my personality, is I would literally do the webinar from start to finish of everything that people need to do. And so people would leave my webinars like with their laundry list of everything that they need to do. Right? And I think that's what you're doing too, is you're giving people everything that they need to do so much that they don't do anything. But
Exactly,
they
yes.
feel like that, but they feel like they have all the information they need. They feel like
Yes,
they have all the information they need, but they're still not going to do it.
exactly. Exactly. This is the
So that's why like I started like doing like, especially like with these workshops, right? You guys are probably seeing me go one topic instead of like a whole bunch of laundry list stuff. That's from me knowing you guys that if I teach you guys too much at one time, you're not going to end up you're not going to end up doing anything. And so I have a feeling that might be an issue with the value bomb that you're giving them. Is there something that you can pull out like that? How long is your value bomb? Like how many things are there on there?
There are a lot of things. Yeah, like, I don't know, 20, 30 things, 30
Oh my
topics.
God, that might, yeah, like probably each of those 30 things could be its own value bomb.
Okay, so do you.
You'd be surprised at how little we can go with a value bomb. You know, Justin Demers actually said something for those of you guys who were here last workshop on Thursday. He literally said, Laurel, you could literally do a 60-minute workshop on just the one thing to say when people ghost you in message. And he asked you guys, he's like, how many of you guys would buy that? And all of you guys were like, and I was like, shit, that's just one piece of the DM funnel. He's like, yeah, you could literally spend 60 minutes just on showing your students how to re-engage in Messenger. Where to me, I'm like, it's a single line. But to you guys, it's like, no, we need to know all of this context and nuances as to why this one line works and alternatives to this line and all like and all of these things. And so a lot of times we think that our value bomb has to be this big thing when really we just need to get one win for the people who are asking for the value bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Instead
So
of
give them like my value bomb should be like a workshop, like a low ticket, like we discussed last
No,
weekend.
I'm just saying it needs to be one thing off of that workshop. I mean, one thing off of your value bomb, right? Like what's the first thing on your value bomb?
I don't know, master math required for chemistry, let's say.
Say that, what is that?
To master the math required for chemistry, let's say.
And what's that?
Okay, so what should I do with that? I have a workshop. I once did a training in my Facebook group about that. So I have like a video.
What problem does that one step solve?
It solves the problem that they have like because they are always afraid that they are not having the mathematic foundation required, you know. So they make sure that they know the math that is required to
Perfect.
work.
Oh my gosh. Like what if you did something like what's written on this sheet are the 3 math problems that most people who are trying to ace AP chemistry do wrong. But what if in the next 10 minutes you can master those 3 problems using this cheat sheet that I created for my clients? Drop a line below this video and it's yours.
Mhm. So you mean that I explain those things in the power content and then I explain some things
Nope.
about.
You explain it just on the value bomb. These are the 3 Estriana. You could use this probably too for your stuff, right? Like, what are the 3 top problems that people have, or even break it down to 1? This is the hardest problem for students who are trying to pass AP chemistry. Here's why, blah, 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 blah. But I literally have an exercise that literally walks my students through how to solve the most complicated chemistry problems. And all you need to do is read this, and you'll never, your child or you will never have issues solving that problem again. Drop a line below this video if you want it.
Okay, yeah, that's
Right?
great.
You see how we like literally just broke down a 30-step checklist to just one very small issue, right? Because if they themselves did that, they're like, oh man, Dr. Christina just solved one of these issues. What other things can she help me prepare for this test with?
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Like if you're teaching language, hey, here are the 10 most complicated phrases that most people have when it comes to learning English. But I have a very unique method that I use in order to teach my students on how to ace these 10 phrases in less than 24 hours, right? You see how I'm literally just like problem, solution, little solution, because that little solution earns you the conversation to figure out what the big problem actually is. But we're luring them in with the little problem.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's digestible.
Yes, now I understand how wrong I was, because everyone just wanted that list.
Yeah, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong. You were
Yeah.
just giving them a little bit too much to do. Like
Yes,
I said,
but
I'm guilty of that too.
with that, I mean, they were just looking to the list, and I don't know, I then just didn't manage to move any one. Okay, I didn't also have a lot of conversations, but now I understand that also my power content was not good. If it was promoting this list, it's like the type of power content you said that 1,000 people will raise their hand, and nothing will get out of that. So
You could literally break down AP chemistry stuff with power content.
yes,
And probably have a very successful business just doing that as your marketing.
Yes. Now I'm getting this exactly how I have to do my power content and what should be my value bomb, because I was totally wrong.
You are totally wrong. You're figuring things out along the way, right? That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Marketing is just all about testing.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, I get it now. So gonna do that.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Scott.
Hey, Laurel. So I think maybe my value bomb is too big, but it's like out of all this, well, the one that's working the best, because everything I've done is like 3 to 5 times more expensive to get a conversation, and it doesn't actually lead anywhere. But so I did like text templates, like 60-second client campaigns, so stuff that was like quick wins, and those performed at like, they're usually like $15 to get someone to start a conversation, and then they just were like, give me the thing. And then the one that worked the best was it was a full month. Like, here's a marketing plan for the full month, and here's emails and social media posts, that seemed to, well, I got more people from that, started more conversations. They just didn't go anywhere.
Because it's too broad.
Yeah.
They just wanted the thing, right?
Yeah. They did. It's funny because they did, like, I got more people that actually started actually conversating back and forth in that still than the other ones, even though they were like smaller. I guess I'm just confused at what, because the stuff I've tried that were like just smaller quick wins just weren't.
How long did you run the other ones?
All of them ran for like at least a week. Yeah, at least a week.
And what was the issue? You said you had people commenting for the other ones, they just didn't go anywhere?
Yeah, well, it was way more expensive. Like, it was like 3 to 4 times X every single time for the other conversations.
That's a sign that because those people are going to be higher quality, right? Because think about this, the more broader you go, the cheaper the conversation, the more people are going to raise their hand, but the more narrow you go, Because like if you let's just say like you're paying $15 a conversation, but those people actually have the like very specific problems because they're like interested in solving that very specific problem, your quality of conversations are probably going to be better.
But they were actually worse. That's why I'm confused now, is like the ones that were more, they were just people
How many conversations do you have?
in those specific ones. It'd be like between 4 and 7.
That's
like
not enough. That's not enough data right there. But again, it all depends on how much of the conveyor belt where those people were on the conveyor belt, right? So give me an example of like when you said like your conversations like with the broad one, like you got more conversations, so where did that end up?
I would go back and forth probably 5, 6 times, but it get down
What
to
was their most immediate constraint?
so for most of them it was like they were getting leads, but they were bad quality leads that was going nowhere. And then when I offered to do like, I'm like, well, I might have some other resources, and I'd follow up with another question, and then typically that's where it typically fell off.
So what was it? So
there.
walk me through a conversation. I want to get the full context of
So kind of they comment to get what the thing. I would say like, great, just saw your comment. Quick question, like, it was basically was like, what are you doing to get leads right now? Like, and I gave them options like ads, emails, text, or organic social. They'd answer that, and I'd say, great. Which of these rings more true? Like you're not getting enough leads, or you're getting leads, but they're not, turning into like clients or something along those lines. So then that was obviously the one where it was either they weren't getting enough leads, or they needed help with the follow-up or that sort of thing, or better ads. So then at that point, we might go, but they might answer, they might just not. And then I'd say, reason I'm asking is I might have a different resource that's better for you. And then they might respond in there. And then it would just kind of die off. Like when I'd say, hey, like, do you want me to?
What is it that you need them to say? Like the way that Nick puts it, it's like, what do you need them to ask you in order to have a complete flash roll? Like to where like Scott can like just unleash all of his expertise. Like what is it? What data do they need to give you in order to just be like, I could literally design their plan that's going to solve this problem and like this?
Well, if they weren't getting enough leads, I'd have to see what their ads are, like what they've been running.
Have you ever asked them to see their ads or to see their content?
I have, and that's where like a couple of them like, I went because I'd go and check and see and every time it was their ads were off, and I'm like, I went to check. I'd like to, if you want, I can go through your ads, just take a look and tell you kind of what might be wrong with them, and then it just dies off there. And then I guess on the other side, it would be like, what's actually happening after the lead ups in, because that's usually their follow-up's terrible. And that's been 100% ghost when I say that.
So you were asking for their email sequence follow-up, or what were you asking to audit?
I said, yeah, I'd say that their audit, their follow-up.
So but how are you asking them? Like, hey, can you put all your emails on a Google Doc and I'll take a look at them? Or
no, I was asking if they just wanted to jump on a call like quick, because for them to drop it all.
No, bad Scott.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Like you're asking for the call way too soon. Of course they're not gonna like, that's why I make you guys talk it out, because I know that's something you're doing that's scaring them off.
It's funny because I'm like, in my head, I'm like,
what should you have done instead?
I mean, I guess they could have dropped it in a Google Doc. I just thought they just wouldn't do that because people are like, no, that's my stuff. And I'm like, I'm not stealing your shit.
I have never, if I offer to look at someone's ads, they send me their ads as fast as fucking possible for me to look at them.
Okay.
Like, I would literally like, and I like, if you're getting leads from that one that's broad, that's fine. And it might just take like a little bit of time to like try to figure out like what is going to separate a qualified lead from an unqualified lead. Like if I were you, I would be like, send me your best 3 social media posts that you've done in the last 30 days. Because if they're not getting high quality leads, like I do this all the time. Like, as a matter of fact, I'm talking to someone in Messenger right now. I said, send me your last 3 social media posts that you've done that has remotely gotten you a conversation. And like after this call, I'm gonna like take a look at it and I'm gonna send them a Loom video back saying, hey, here, try these things instead. And then come
Okay.
back to me. Like I'm always like the other day, like I literally rewrote a lead, right? Someone that was in my inbox, and they were like, our media buyer is spending like $5,000 a month. And our cost per purchase on a $47 challenge is like $300. I was like, send me your ads and your landing page right now. And I literally took an hour out of my time. I was bored. And I literally rewrote 3 angles and 5 variations of each of those ads, rewrote their entire landing page, and said, here, go have your media buyer try this.
Okay.
What do you think happened?
Well, they probably reached back out to you after.
Yeah, those people are in LOL right now. But
Okay.
it's like, but I
Yeah.
learned, but that's the thing is like I spend time with my people because like sometimes like trust me, like it was a very extenuating circumstance that I did that for that particular person because they were in a very tough financial situation. And so I didn't want to charge them. I was like, look, just go do this. But I mean, they were like, nope, that sold us. We need this, right? I don't typically go that far as to spend an hour of my time doing something like that, but that's the stuff that I do in Messenger. People send me stuff. I send it right back to them. I'll send a Loom video and I just do that all day long. But why do I do that? Because it makes great content.
Yeah. Well,
right?
yeah. And I mean, in marketing too, like everyone thinks everyone's full of shit too. So it's that thing of how you kind of differentiate yourself. Yeah.
Yep. So how many of you guys have gone through me and Nick's stealth influence training? That's one of the adoption decisions, trialability. How can we get people to experience what we do before they pay us? And they know, yeah, and what you just said, they know I'm not full of shit, right? Because because think about this, for every one of us, there's 20 others that are in their DMs that are trying to sell them something.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, no one takes the time to do what I do in Messenger. Does that make sense? Is that helpful, Scott?
Yeah. I was just, I thought maybe I'm like giving the wrong thing, but like in my head, I was giving them the thing knowing that they're probably not going to use it. And that's worked in the past with email where I'm like, hey, how did you go with that, with the things I sent you? And they're like, well, I didn't do anything. I'm like, oh, surprise, surprise.
And that's because they didn't have that most immediate problem. They were just collecting free resources. And that's why it's my macro belief that the more niche you go in market and the more niche your problem is, the higher the quality person.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Nope, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Kalita.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. So we'll go Kalita, Sabrina, and then we will end things with Miss Natasha.
Okay, so I've been selling digital products it'll be 14 years this year, and I wanted to start back coaching, which is why I'm here.
Okay,
And
welcome.
I help busy working women like me make money with digital products. But I've had like all these different freebies before, and going through the $7 program, I've tested some of them. I've gotten conversations started, but I know that there's a hold up somewhere. So like one of my freebies was an ebook template. Another one was a fast launch cheat sheet. And then I also had a quick niche worksheet. So those are 3 just off the top of my head. And my main like big promise is I help them to launch their digital product business in a day. It's usually like 2 or 3 hours that I help them just get it launched. Like, well, the promise for my my offer.
Okay. So are you sell digital products yourself, right?
Right. I sell my own digital products, but then now I'm coaching them to sell their digital products too.
That's perfect. So how much have you sold in the last like year of digital products?
You mean like quantity?
Yeah, like income or quantity, it's fine. Whichever one you feel comfortable sharing.
I don't know quantity, but like income ballpark would be a little less than 6 figures, a little less than 100,000. So maybe like 90 something or 80 something.
Amazing. That's amazing, by the way. Like to a lot of people, they're like, oh, like that's first, that's a whole replacement of someone's income. That's amazing. So
Right.
congratulations on that.
Thank
So
you.
where are most of the because honestly, most people that are like that, they're just like selling other people's stuff. And that's awesome. Like, by the way, like that's so freaking good to make your first 100K online. So congratulations on that.
Well,
And because I think people over promise offers like that. And that's why you're having issues, right? Because too many people have over promised starting their own digital business, right?
right. And like based on the conversations I've had over the last 10 years, like most women just don't know how to start or where to start or feel like they don't have enough time to start. And so that's what I want to help. Like that was me when I first got started.
So you're helping people who are still working full time.
Right, or have a service business. So they consider themselves busy. They feel like it's overwhelming to try to figure it out. And
Mhm.
so like I've been having the conversations in the DM. Some of them they have the idea but haven't launched, or they don't know if it's a good idea or not. So they're stuck there. And so they
Okay.
need
Let's
right.
unpack that really quickly.
Mhm.
So who are the people that if you got them to work with you, you'd like, Laurel, I need 20 more of these people because they're easy to get results for. Who would those people be?
Okay, so it would be someone who's working full time, so they already have income, and they maybe like have. So okay, let me describe my dream client that I had last year. She had a job, but she was also an esthetician, and she wanted to help other estheticians with digital products. So
I love that.
she would.
Is that what full-time income was too?
Well, now she's full-time esthetician, and digital products is her full-time income. She quit
That's
her
amazing. So
other
your
job.
market, so this is where messaging matters, right? So this is very important, right? You're not just like taking any person online and starting the digital thing, even though you can.
Right.
What you're teaching people how to do is experts who are service providers turn their service into a digital product.
Okay.
Just that change in messaging right there will get you a higher quality person. Because you're not just teaching people to make money online opportunity, you're teaching experts who are service providers turn their service into an actual digital product.
Right. Okay. Got it. And so then my value bombs would then change to facilitate who I'm speaking to. So instead of just
100%, right? Like you can literally say, look, if you're in the service provider business and you have scaled as far as you can take on, what if I told you that a simple digital product could allow you to scale without you doing any additional work? Just like my client who is an esthetician. She couldn't take any more clients, but I showed her how to put together a quick $27 product. And now she's bringing in an additional blah, 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 without doing any additional work. Drop a line below if you want to see exactly how I taught, the step-by-step that I taught her how to do that. Blah, 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 and be done with it.
got it. Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's why I rushed to get to this call today. So thank you.
No, you're very welcome. Did everyone see that just slight change in messaging? Because we went from, oh, Polita is selling a make money online offer to, oh, she usually helps this type of business, right? So just it's all in that like shift in the way that you're getting clear on who you're targeting. And that's why I make you guys do that stupid triangle exercise, because like that helps you with your messaging. Because Kalita, the last thing that she wants to do is attract women who are tire kickers and are just looking for that get rich quick stuff. That's not what she does. Although it sounded like that at first, right? But once we started having that conversation, we quickly were able to separate you from that market right there. And that's where we want to do. Yep. Sabrina, girl,
Hello,
tell me something good other than you have been kicking booty with those videos, girl.
So for me, what I find is that when I put out my reels, I tend to get more people commenting on it from my organic traffic than my paid. And then I'm starting to wonder whether I need to go back and have a look at these value bombs, because I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I just make them up. I don't even know how to create it.
They're called phantom bombs, right? You can just make them up. Most of the time I do, because 90% of the time that's not what the person needs. Now, if it is what the person needs, I will go ahead and do it, but then I'll do it personalized for that person, and it makes it even better.
Yeah. So
Right?
I'm kind of talking. I've got the script, but I do the hook and the promise of value, and then I just go off on my own one.
Let's go from the beginning to the end. What's the value bomb that you're starting with? Let's just kind of talk through it.
So I did one a couple of days ago, and the value bomb was to get my pre-call funnel SOP. Don't ask me what that is, but that's what it was. And so
Say that
I
one
was
more time. I think my internet like glitched right there. What was that? What did you just say?
It was the pre-call funnel SOP.
Okay,
and
yes.
the hook, it was around getting more than 50% of your audience to show up to your calls. Now, I've had a comment from the ad and another 2 comments from my organic, and so in a message. So the message that I wrote as well, I don't even think that through, because I'm like, oh, okay, how many people do you have showing up at the moment? And they haven't got back to me yet, and they're probably thinking, I need them to just show up. Like, what does it matter? So whether that was the right question,
Yeah,
or
so
should I ask something
here's
else?
how to no, that I like this conversation. So I try to help people answer their numbers, because one of the things that I learned from Nick is once we make someone feel stupid, we've lost them, right? Because there's nothing more than people hate is to feel stupid, right? And I'm good at making people feel stupid, not purposefully, but because in the way sometimes that I explain things, right? Which is something that I constantly have to work on. And so anytime that I'm having a messenger conversation, I try to help them answer as best as I can. So if someone's asking me for the pre-call SOP to allow them to get more booked calls, I will say, hey, I'm messaging you because you asked for my pre-call funnel SOP. And by the way, most of my clients have issues with this, so you're not alone, right? Because industry standard says that at least 60% of people should be showing up. So on average, most clients, when they come to me, they only have like 20 to 30%. For you, if you have 10 calls, how many people are naturally going to show up on average? You see how I'm positioning it that, hey, it's normal. It's not, it's an issue I see all the time. That's the B message, right? Is here, so I see this all the time. It's not, this problem isn't just for you. I've been there hundreds of times. I've helped hundreds of people through it. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly how to fix it because I fixed it hundreds of times. That's what I want them to hear. And so that's why I'm like explaining the entire process. I'm also helping them do the math so that like, if they don't know their percentage, they're probably at least going to be able to figure it out by the conversation, because I've laid out all the numbers of industry standard.
Right.
Sometimes a lot of people, especially when it comes to their numbers, they don't know their numbers. And so we kind of have to help them along. And standard says like X amount of people should show up. And so that's why I always tell them, yeah, most people when they come to me, they're doing less than this. So if that's you, you're not alone. This is a common issue that I see.
Okay, I see now. And I sent the same message to all 3 of them.
But this is, yeah, like, yeah, Tina says sometimes people feel upset about not knowing their numbers. Oh yeah. I used to like give people a really hard time. I'm like, ooh, that doesn't work. What the fuck? You don't know your numbers. You're a fucking business. Like, that's what I always want to shake them. I'm like, why would you not know your number? But I understand it's a common problem, and not everyone is mathematical like I am, but like, I'm always like, money is math, right? If you don't know your numbers. But yeah, so I've learned that like just walking them through what they should know makes them feel less stupid. Because my first tendency is like, what the fuck? You don't know your cost per lead. The fuck?
You'll be surprised. I speak to a lot of people that don't know their numbers.
Oh, I'm not surprised anymore. Like I talk to people all the time that doesn't even know what their cost per acquisition should be with ads. I'm not picking on anyone, but I'm like, how could you not know? How could you not know what your acquisition should be? How can you scale? But I
I
digress.
get it now.
I'm very passionate about making sure people know their numbers.
Yeah, I did a post about that. But
Tina, you're right. They don't want to know. They don't know it because it's something they're shoving underneath the rug. And so you and I, Sabrina and Tina, because Tina works a lot with the same people, is we have to kind of hold their hand a little bit in that and just like if you're like me, you have to bite your tongue and be like, it's okay. Most people don't know their numbers. So I always add that in whenever I'm asking people about number. Hey, if you don't know this number, you're not alone. Most people I talk to don't know this number, but here's why you need to know this.
yeah, yeah. All right, I get it now. I'm gonna try and take that angle instead and stop assuming they know everything.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the value bomb. Hey, you want me to show you in a quick 5-minute video how to figure out the 5 numbers that you should know before building your funnel? That right
Yeah,
there
it's a
is
good one.
great, because then I'm like, hey, send me your numbers, and then I do the math for them. And I'm like, ooh, I was just doing your numbers, and I noticed that not enough people are actually watching your webinar. Want to send me the first 5 minutes of your webinar, and we'll see if we can fix it? Like, if someone sends me their numbers, and by the way, like, hint, like, if someone sends me their numbers, I can't help but not answer that messenger conversation. Like, when people send me crazy, wild, random questions in Messenger, it makes my head spin and I just ignore them. But it is in my like DNA. If someone sends me their numbers in Messenger, I have to. I can't not answer them. I can't not do a math problem. It's an issue, but it also gets me clients.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Laurel. That's very
Was that
handy.
helpful?
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
Is this called overall helpful for everyone? Colton, we started with you. Is this helping? Because I know you're kind of new to our call. I don't think Colton's used to me being so spicy. I'm much more chill on our B of E calls. Let's see, Natasha.
Hey. Okay, so my question is, I don't really get any reach outs, messages, convos, anything at all from mine. So I don't know. I've been running mine since January, so I don't know if it's just I just need to wait, or
How many of you tested since January?
how many have I been testing? I'm testing 3
Since
different ones.
January, that's it?
Yeah.
Girl.
Is that
since January? Let's see, it's March 24th. 31, 30, 61. You should have 85 right now.
I know. So I don't know.
You should have tested 85.
I thought my problem was small and that it would just make sense, but I'm thinking like I'm in 3 months and no, like I'm getting okay views, but no conversations at all.
How many pieces of content have you put out in the last 85 days?
Oh, I'm putting out content. I'm putting out 1 a day.
And you're boosting it to your warm traffic?
So I'm not boosting it yet because I did, but I didn't have enough audience yet. So I think I've had to wait. I think I'm there now. So I'm going to retry.
That's going to help. That's definitely going to help.
Right. Okay.
And once you start boosting your content every single day, that is definitely going to help. And yeah, like Chef Shelly just said, test different value bombs daily. Hell yeah. If I'm not getting conversations and I need conversations, as a matter of fact, I'm probably doing 5 or 6 daily. I want to get conversations as fast as possible, right? I'm probably even DMing people at that stage, right? What were you gonna say, Natasha?
Yeah, so I was going to say, let me get your thoughts on one. To me, this makes sense. So my target audience are school teachers who would like to supplement their teacher salary by starting a side business.
Ooh,
and so
that's
one of the value bombs that I have is one to help generate ideas. Another one is to
so how are you positioning this?
You okay, how am I positioning this is one would be like you bear in mind, I'm not saying it right, but essentially you want to supplement your teacher's salary. You're complaining that you don't have enough money. So starting a side business would be something that would just make sense. So if you don't know an idea of what you can do, or you've got too many ideas.
Were you a teacher?
I'm a teacher, yeah.
Okay. You've got major cred, right? You're a teacher. Crystal's a teacher. That's what she's doing, right? She just said, look, it's me, a teacher supplementing their salary, right? You could literally start off being like, 90% of teachers don't have enough money to supply their own classroom with supplies. I got fed up, and so I started a side hustle. But here's the thing. Most side hustles are not for teachers, but I did find one side hustle that literally has not only worked for me, but has worked for X amount of other teachers. And I have literally outlined that side hustle on this cheat sheet right here. Drop a line below if you want this, blah, 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 blah. I have personally been doing this side hustle for the last blah, 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 blah. And I would literally give as much, because here's the thing. Teachers, especially those who are looking to supplement their income, probably get hit with all these get rich quick opportunities. And so there's a couple of things that you need to do in your pieces of content to, would you say this, repel the people who are going to want those get rich quick things. And so like you want to tell teachers, hey, it's okay, I'm a teacher, I've done this before, and I've helped other teachers do it. You need to hit on those 3 things in every piece of content. I'm a teacher, I've done this myself, and I've helped X amount of other teachers. Every single piece of content needs to position you in that way. Otherwise, you just come off as, a make money online person who's trying to get them into an MLM. And I don't know, you might be trying to get them into an MLM, but.
Okay. That makes sense.
What business model are you teaching them? By the way, there's no right or wrong answer because all business models work.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
So what business model are you teaching them? Like what kind of side hustle?
Oh, it's not really, it's basically they choose whether it be like coaching or memberships or whatever. It doesn't really matter what specifically they do but it's more of what.
Let's see, is Scott here? Yeah, Scott is still here. So Scott had this same problem a couple of years ago when he started working with me. He wanted to help people fund their retirement with a digital business, right? Yeah. And so at one point, I want to say, Scott, you were teaching people how to blog and like all of this other stuff, right? And I was like, well, Scott, what are you passionate about? And we find out he was one of Seth Godin's coaches. Like, how freaking cool is that, right? And so he had like an expertise like in his back pocket by someone who's super reputable. And I was like, just teach people how to fund their retirement with a consulting business, just like you're doing. You're living it, you're doing it, right? And it makes it easier for him to actually teach because like everyone's in the room learning the same skill, right? And so it really does help whenever like if you've taught teachers, like there's this one teacher that sold her 2nd grade lesson plans and is now a millionaire. I would use that story in your content as much as possible, right? Because a lot of teachers can take their certain skills and turn them into digital products, right? Like if you're like, what grade do you teach?
I'm secondary, so that's from 11 up to 18, 19.
Yeah, like you can literally take some of your teach teachers how to package up some of the stuff that they're doing to the classroom and sell it to other teachers. You could teach a teacher, if they're really great at making presentations, you could teach other teachers or teach people how to teach things, right? Like course creators a lot of course creators like me could use a lesson on how to teach in a classroom. You get what, but I'm just giving you all of these ideas, but you see how like you can help them zero in on one type of offer, then you, right, are coming off as, okay, this is what she does. She was a teacher. She's teaching other teachers how to use their skills as a teacher to start their own business.
So I'm too broad. That's what I'm hearing. I'm too
broad. Yeah, absolutely. Like if you're literally a teacher teaching other teachers how to utilize their expertise and do some kind of digital product with it, like kind of like where's Kalita, right? Well, we were just talking to her, that separates her from all of the make money online offers, which we want to try to stay away from as much as possible.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Man, got through everyone. That was good. Any clear takeaways today? Who learned something that they didn't see in the strategy before? I'm gonna pick on Crystal. Crystal, what did you learn today that you were like, huh, I didn't realize that about the strategy till today?
I was just unmuting, but I think for me, what I realized is that I need to take myself out of the lane and open up the more lanes of traffic coming in, so that I can ask the broader question that will narrow down a more specific. So, because I have like 15 specific problems, I have like all the things lined out, right? But instead of worrying about the exact thing I'm going to give the client, allow the thing to unfold more organically through the conversation.
Yes, that is, if there's anything that you guys took away from today, I hope it's the same thing that Crystal took away, because this strategy is not designed to give them the free thing. This strategy is designed to do exactly that. We want to intercept a conversation with people who are already a lead, right? Because think about it. If we're looking at the conveyor belt, right? Power content gets them on the conveyor belt. The boosted posts gets them moving on the conveyor belt, right? And what are our boosted posts, right? Our power contents are more actionable content. It's the how-to, it's the here's how to solve this very specific problem, right? But we know people consume content in 4 different ways: actionable, aspirational, anthropological, and analytical, right? Our boosted posts, we're going to take those same pieces of power content and we're going to write them through a completely different lens. Analytical, so we're showing our numbers to our audience, further proof that what we do works, right? Aspirational, we're showing them the case studies, we're telling the client stories. Anthropological, we're showing them why some humans can do this and why other humans can't based upon the way that they behave, right? So now they're on the conveyor belt, they're teetering, right? They're like, I still don't have certainty that this could work for me. What's the best way to help people get certainty? Intercept a conversation with them, right? So that's how we have to look at this DM funnel, is a way to intercept people who are watching our content, but they're still teetering. They're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Why is this time going to be different? Right? And so that's what the messenger conversation is built to do. Now, for those of you guys who don't have an offer validated, or you don't have warm traffic, it's going to be harder, but you can do this from top of funnel. Like you could literally take someone from cold to sold in a single messenger conversation if you do this right. It's not easy, but you can absolutely do it. It's designed to do that. And so that's the whole point of the DM funnel, is that's why we want it to be part of the conveyor belt versus to cold traffic. But sometimes you got to hustle and get and try to talk to as many people as fast as possible. But it's really meant to be a conversion mechanism, middle of funnel. TC, you have a quick question?
Yes, can you just repeat the last 2? I have anthropological, aspirational.
Yep, and analytical.
Analytical, okay.
So those are going to be your boosted posts, right? And boosted posts can be power content. They could be power posts, written versions of your power content, or they could be more conversion multipliers, right? Those are your 3 different types of boosted posts. And those are meant to be analytical, aspirational, anthropological, right? Your power content at the top, actionable.
Actionable.
And then
okay.
Yep, and then your fast funnel is built upon the value bombs that are in that actionable content.
Okay, got it. So those are the 4. Thank you.
Absolutely. Great question. If you guys haven't seen that video here that I did on my YouTube channel, last Friday, I actually shot a video and people are like, wow, I never saw it that way. But if you go to my YouTube channel, this right here, everything you need to run my entire ecosystem, I literally go over the analytical, aspirational, so that like by the time you're done with this exercise in its full capacity, you have like 1,280 pieces of content. And it all starts with just 3 pieces of power content. And I think by the end of this, we had 60 pieces of content from just 3 power content videos by the time that you do everything. So if you go to my YouTube channel right here, definitely watch that video. because it'll give you all of the content that you need, honestly, for like the rest of the year. So actually, I'll post it here in the chat for you guys. There you go. Awesome. Well, who's coming to Annika and I's workshop tomorrow? It's gonna be good. We're not selling anything either, so it's not, you can put your wallet, like, we're not selling anything. He's doing it as a favor for me, so super excited to see that tomorrow. But and there's a special bonus for those of you guys who are who's gonna show up live. I'll just tell you guys what the bonus is, right? People are gonna have FOMO. I even got Molly Mahoney to get a bonus in there too. And so me, Anik, and Molly, we're gonna build out my entire expert model. If you don't know what that is, you're gonna see it tomorrow. And we're gonna do complete over the shoulders of building the entire thing, and that's gonna be the bonus. And I'm telling you, and we're gonna probably sell that for a couple $100. We are. So if you guys show up live tomorrow, that's the bonus. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day. Hopefully today got you guys one step closer. And don't worry, if you couldn't make it live tomorrow, there's gonna be another opportunity to get that bonus. So you guys know I'll hook you guys up. But anyway, love all of you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying Momentum as much as I am. I really feel like I'm in my element here. I love just sitting down with you guys, rolling up our sleeves and just kind of getting shit done versus fancy presentation and all that. I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like we get more shit done this way. So like I said, hopefully you guys are enjoying this as much as I am, and I will see you guys tomorrow.